Welcome to this look at the new Pumps and Hoses pack DLC. This is part 2. We're looking at pumping and hosing. With me, MrSealyp. Pumps and Hoses part 2. The Pumps and Hoses. Part 1 was looking at infrastructure. If you didn't see that, go and have a look. It's very important. All the cool stuff you need for, well, you don't have to run all of that, to be fair. To run any of this, you just need slurry or digestate. So if you've got that somewhere else, you absolutely can. You don't have to have the biogas side of things. But anyway, part 2, we're going to be looking at the pumps and the hoses and umbilicals and hose reels and lots of cool stuff. So what we're going to start off with, we'll look at the hoses first, I think. We have got a selection of hoses in different colours and different lengths, which is pretty cool. So, if I remember correctly, if we go into here and we go to our objects, go to our palettes, and we scroll across until we get to them. So, umbilical hose is just there. I will say at this point, if you haven't watched part 1 and you're looking at this, this is not part of the season pass. This is a separate download, separate DLC, and it's a separate payment. It's €17.99, €14.99 in pound sterling. I'm not sure about dollars, but it's going to be around that. Is it worth it? I think so for what it brings to the game, but if you don't like using this kind of stuff, then it might not be. But this is what this sort of video is for, to have a look. So, umbilical hoses. They started out, I think they were only 1 or 2 slots. It wasn't horrendous. Have I got the hose written down? Hose pallets are 1 slot anyway. 1,950 to start off with. And we start with a hose reel with a 100-metre hose on it. We can have a 200-metre hose, 300, 400, 500. Now these hoses can be connected together as well to make much longer ones, which you'll see in a little while. We can also change the main colour of them. I mean, that's the kind of colour we've seen on a lot of the videos, and I think yellows as well, but we can have a red, a blue, green, brown, grey, or if you want to go stick with the standard black, you absolutely can. So those are the hose reel sizes. Now those can be picked up with pallet forks, they can be picked up with the big bag handlers, or you can use the hose reels. So we go up to the next one, we'll have a look at those out on the field in just a second. But what we need to do is look at all the equipment that comes in this pack. We'll have a look at it first because it's all pretty much under here. There's a couple under miscellaneous, which we'll have a look at. So, under slurry tanks, this is where you're going to find all the gear we need. So if we scroll across to our pumps and hoses. Starting off with the AC115 by Schouten, I think it is. Schouten AC115. This is a compressor. Compressors needed to clean umbilical hoses. We've then got the H240 by Schouten. That's a hose reel, and that will take a 1.3 kilometre reel. Now, you can put smaller reels on it. You can put a 100-metre on it if you want to, but it will take capacity up to a 1.3 kilometre reel. We've got the DH240. That will do 1.7 kilometres. Now, I have only managed to get 1,000 metres on mine. I went to put another 500 on it and it said it wouldn't accept it, so I was a bit puzzled by that. That's baffled me. Or did I get 1,500 but I couldn't get the last bit? Something like that. Just want to look at options. No options on that one. We can have lights on front or rear, for front or rear. So depending whether you're going to mount it, you can change your lighting just to be safe on the roads. Same with that one. And then we've got the FTH230, that's only a 0.4 kilometre, so that's a much shorter reel, but that one does come with a liquid manure tank, and that manure tank is used as a buffer, so you have constant liquid manure delivery. So it goes into that tank and then goes out through the pipe. So you've got that, well, that system in place that it shouldn't run out, and if for any reason it does, you don't get sort of spluttering and gaps and air coming through and that kind of thing. That's the buffer and how it works, so that's that one. We keep going, we'll have a look at the equipment. We then move on to the pumps. So we've got the PU100. That's 160 horsepower required. That will run out to 300 metres. So that pump will hopefully pump your slurry manure out that far. We've got the PU300. Now that one doesn't have any options, does it? No. The PU300 requires 200 horsepower. That will pump out to 1,000 metres, but it also has a water storage tank on it as well, 2,800 litres. The water storage tank, I think, works in conjunction with the compressors. Now, I haven't got it to work yet for cleaning hoses out. So yeah, water storage will positively impact the pump condition. So the water goes into the system as well, helps the condition and helps prolong the life of the vehicle too. That one comes like that. The hose reel on the top holds, I think it's a 200 meter. I've got one, I think it's a 200 meter hose reel on the top of that. So you can take a hose with you on that one. We've got the Shrouton JC450. That requires 200 horsepower. That's like a field tank, but that does come with 49,000 litre capacity, does hold water as well, and that will pump out to 700 metres. Options on this, we've got wheel setup standard or standard 2, and there's a license plate on there as well. So I don't know if you can see just there, there's a top section, that's your water tank, and then the rest of it is slurry. Then we've got the Shrouton PW121, also 200 horsepower required. This will pump out to 1,500 metres. Now, this has got quite a few options on it. It says 12,200 litres, but you can have a standard one there, 12,200 litre tank, happy days, no problem at all. We can change our tyre type from Trelleborg, BKT, Michelin, Mitas, Vredestein, or back again, but there's no options within those. We've then got capacity, 12,200 litre tank, or a split 3,200 liquid manure and 9,000 litres water. So if you want to again have that situation where it helps keep the condition of the vehicle, you can. Then you've got reel. We've got a reel one, so you can just have a reel, hose reel on the back. I think that's another one. Is that another 200? I think it is. You can have a compressor, reel and compressor, or back to standard. Actually, what have I missed there? Where's the bottom plate gone? Oh, platform, up the top, missed platform. We've got standard or platforms. There's a platform underneath there for putting things on, which again, you'll see in a moment. So the platform's there. So where's the platform gone? So you can have all of that combined, and then there's license plate option on there too. So that's your pumps section. We keep going, we then move on to our distribution system. So we start off with the Shrouton SP8040. That's an 8-meter spreader. So slurry distributors can be attached to suitable slurry tanks configured as umbilical injector. You can attach directly to a tractor. Connect via a hose to an umbilical pump to apply liquid manure to your fields. So you can have, I'm trying to think which one it is. That one? Is it that one? Yeah, if you've got a tank, you can. I haven't tried looking at those options, but anyway. So options on that one. You can have it like that, which has already got the attach on the back, or you can have it without, which has a trailer hitch on there. And I think you can run a tank behind it, so you can run your slurry tank behind, which attaches. I haven't tried that yet, actually. So you trailer hitch on the back, run a slurry tank behind it, and then it will just take it directly from that. I think that's what it means when it says configured as umbilical injector. You can attach directly to a tractor. Then you can connect via a hose as well. So there we go. Then we've got the Shrouton HS5100. I haven't said the slot counts on any of these, have I? I'm so sorry. Just looking down at my list. The maximum slot count I've got on here is 11. They're 3s, 5s, 7s. The umbilical hose reel we've already looked at. They're 2s and 3s. Yeah, nothing above 11 slots. Saying that. Oh no, that one was 11. That one was 11. HS 5100 is 6. Now this is a tool holder for all intents and purposes, tool carrier. So for the other ones, that one has that attached on the back as an option for attaching your umbilical. These ones afterwards don't have that option, so you need that. So you need to have the tool carrier with that, unless you're pulling a tank behind you. But if you want to attach to an umbilical hose, you're going to need that on there. Then we move on to the Shrouton SPC 1230. That requires 70 horsepower, 12 meters wide. That doesn't have the option for the attachment on it. That's why you need the tool hand holder. We've then got the SP 12260. That's also 12 meters. Now, which one of it is? Oh yeah, the CM one. The BS900 has got a cultivator attached. So the BS900, whilst it is smaller than those two, those are 12 metre, that's 9 metres, and the first one was 8 metres. The BS900 has got a cultivator attached to it as well, but also requires to be on a tool handler. I've just realised, I am going to go and grab a tanker and see if I can pull one behind without, and it should run of it. We'll give it a go. Anyway, options on that, none, just as license plate on there as well. But that is your cultivator on there too. Right, that's those. What have I missed? Looking in the menu. Oh yeah, if we go down to miscellaneous and we scroll across, we've got the water pump. That one's been a bit weird so far. The water pump, as far as I can tell, is supposed to work in conjunction with the compressor to clean hoses. It says the water pump can be used to fill up water. I've just used a normal water tank to fill up, but that's what that's for. We've already looked at that, and then we've got the wrench. Now the wrench is important because if you want to attach umbilical hoses together, or you want to drag umbilical hoses around, you're going to need that wrench. There's no slot count on that, but that's 100, and you'll find that under miscellaneous. So, I hope that was as clear as mud. We'll see. So, let's look at these to start off with. Umbilical hoses have got various different ones of various different lengths. If we hook up to this first of all, and we go forward, it gives us the option to start hose transfer. So by pressing L3, we can attach our hose onto our hose reel, which is great. Now we can take that off as well straight away. If I do R1, unload umbilical hose, L3 goes back off onto the reel, and you can store them away, which is great. Which means you can switch out different lengths depending on which one it is. If I attach that, so this one is the 0.4 kilometers, so 400 meter. That's the maximum. Now this does say it has a tank as well, but I couldn't get it to fill up. Weirdly, let's see if I can get it to fill up from over here. It just wouldn't let me fill it up. No, it's not giving me the option to fill it. Unless it fills when you start using it. Now, this is going to be the same with each of the hose reels, but I'm going to show us attaching the hose reels. And what we can do with the hose reels, which is, again, it's really cool, and I really like it. Whether you've got it on the front or the rear, as you can see, you've got lights there for the front. If you've got the rear version, it'll have rear-facing lights. But we can change to unwinding. At the moment we're unwinding, I think we are. So change to unwinding. And we start unwinding by pressing down. And if we move backwards, we can unwind our hose. So it unrolls, and the great thing is we can go in all sorts of directions. Let's swing around that way. We can come back on ourselves. So unwinding our hose reels. It's brilliant. It's so well done. It's absolutely fantastic. And it's on console. I'm on PlayStation. It's brilliant. So you can unwind it right the way to the end. We've still got another 100 and something meters to go, and then the whole hose will come off completely. Oh, I'll do it. Why not? Let's unroll the whole hose. What's the worst that can happen? Come on. We're nearly there. Bomb, off it comes. Right, so if you've got the wrench, if you've bought your wrench, I'll leave it over here. There's our hose in the grass. And we go to our wrench. It says attach umbilical hose. So I can attach it. I hook up to the wrench, which allows me to move that around. So if you're not quite lined up with the vehicle, or you just want to move the hose and put it somewhere else, drag it off to something, you can grab it with the wrench and drag it around and do whatever you want to do with it, which is fantastic. And then detach it. Now if you've got two hoses, you can actually attach them together. I wonder if should I do that now? You know what? Let's drag it over there. Can I run with it? Not particularly. So if you've got two shorter ones or whatever, I hope this is going to work because I haven't tried this yet, but it's supposed to. So we get to there. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, there you go. Attach umbilical hoses. So you can attach them both together. Press circle, detach it, go up to whichever one you want. No. There we go. And then take your pipe away again. So you can attach hoses together, which is great. Put that away. Go back to our vehicle. Then when you want to attach your hose reel back up, you can, whichever hose reel you're using, drive up to it. It will give you the option to attach. And you can wind the whole lot back in again. I made quite a mess with that. So, get to there, attach L1 and triangle. Now, we switch then to winding. So, up on there and then start winding. It will automatically wind in, so you don't have to go anywhere. You can sit where you are and it will wind the hose in. Or you can drive along with it as it winds. It's entirely up to you again, how you want to go about doing it. If you're worried about the hose kinking up, like when it does with garden hoses. But if not, you can just sit in one place, leave the engine running, leave that to wind up. Although actually I'm sitting over that hose, I've got to have. So that's unloading, loading, unwinding, winding, and connecting hoses together. What I'm going to do is detach that. Oh, that's carrying on. Not even attached to the tractor, that's carrying on. I didn't expect that either. There you go, I've learned something extra. So what I'm going to do is just quickly attach these just to show you the hose reels attaching. This one was the 1. Is this the 1.3? Yeah. So, on, and on. Yeah, bottom right, 1,300 metres of hose all attached. Once it's on the reel, it automatically connects itself up, so you haven't got to worry there. And then disconnect that. And then the larger one, like I say, for some reason I couldn't get an extra reel to go on, but if you do that, unfold it, raises that up. Yeah, so I got 1,000 on there, but it just wouldn't let me. Tell you what we'll do. See if we can attach an extra bit. And I don't know if it would do it in different colours either. That's something worth trying. I've got the weight on there, haven't I? We're going to get onto everything. Well, I'll say everything else. I hope so. Just in my mind now, trying to remember how to do it all. Yeah, not enough capacity left on the reel. That's supposed to be 1.7 kilometres. There should be capacity on the reel. If I fold that back up, will it put it on the front now? It could, because it's not like that. Ah, there we go. It just had to be down. So it will do 1,700. It's just got to have that reel. Once you've done the first bit, drop it down and you'll put the reel on the front. So that has the capacity of carrying 1.7 kilometres worth of hose reel. So, reels, hose reels, all good to go. Now we move over to the pumps. So we've had a look at the various different pumps where you can buy them. So we're going to start off with the smaller one, which is the PU100 manure pump. This will pump out to 300 metres. I've already taken the liberty of putting a hose out. Now this one doesn't come with a hose reel, but what we should have the ability to do now, I hope so, there we go, with the umbilical hose on the floor near it. Let's just start the engine. Drive forward a little bit, and drop that down. L1 and triangle, and that hooks up the umbilical hose. Now, weirdly, I thought there'd be another hose that would connect in here, because I thought I could run one out to my pit and have it running from the pit, but I couldn't get that to work at all. I couldn't work out a way of getting a hose from one of the silage slurry tanks to here. I just couldn't get one to connect. Again, that's not to say it doesn't, I just couldn't get it to work. So that's now hooked up, that's onto there. Now I have got a compressor on the front, and I think you need the compressor for this to work. But that might just be for cleaning the hoses out. We're going to double check that in a second. So that's this end sorted out. My hose runs all the way out, and once you've rolled your hose out, now this actually might be too long, I'm trying to think now. So what we're going to do, we're going to hook up the other end. So we're going to do all of it, kind of pumps and attach at the same time. So this one is the SP8040S, which has already got the umbilical injector attachment on the back. Now again, you can have it without, you don't have to have the that injector. And if we back up to here, it should give me the option to attach it. We're now hooked up. So, if I now try and turn it on, or at least drop it down, I need to get out of the way. You've got to be careful you don't go over your hose. So, if I drop that down, it says pump Shroughton P100 is not running. So if I raise that up, I need to turn my pump on. Whilst it is hooked up, my pump isn't running yet. So if I look at my menu now, it's got turn on compressor, detach umbilical hose, but there's no option. If I turn that on, it says no liquid manure source. So this is where we now have to bring our manure source. I've got one of these has got slurry and one's got digestate because I wanted to double check that it would run both. So what I'm going to do is bring my source, whether it be a slurry tank, slurry tanker, I suppose the other way. I've just realised. There's me saying about running a hose out to the slurry tank. All I need to do is put the pump next to it, because the pump is recognising the tanker, so the pump should recognise the tank, shouldn't it? So all you have to do is whichever one of these pumps you're using, probably this one, or maybe one of the longer ones, is park that up next to the tank, the slurry tank, silo, and it should work. That makes more sense now. So if I bring that right up next to it, that pump then should recognise it. Turn the engine off. Jump back in there and we should now have the option. It says activate pump. If I turn on compressor, that's where it's go to the front. Right, so I'm switched now just to the compressor because I wanted to look at the compressor and how that works as well. So with the compressor, that's supposed to clean hoses. So I've switched to the front, just the compressor. Press L1. It says turn on compressor, clean umbilical hose. If I press X, not enough pressure, turn on the compressor, clean umbilical hose, still not enough. We have to let it build up. Okay. Now that's something I didn't realise as well. Bottom left, top left of the menu at the bottom, it says umbilical hose clogged by 0%. So every now and again, if that clogs up, you've got to clean this out with the compressor. So you let the pressure build up, clean umbilical hose, and it will clean it. We might give that a go later on if one clogs out. So if you do clog your hose up, compressor on the front, turn it on, gives you the option to clear it. That's great. Let's turn that off again. That's clean. Now we'll switch to the back. So now we're turning on our pump. So activate pump. Our pump is now on. That's now taken from the tanker through the pump. I thought a hose would connect. I honestly thought a hose would connect. But anyway, that's now running from there through the pump all the way out to hopefully here. So when I drop this down now, there we go. Oh, that's interesting. It's missing bits. That's a bit of a worry. Lift. Lower. That's not good. Possibly, is my hose length too long? Is there not enough power? But as you can see, as I'm dragging it, then when you turn, that should keep it out of the way from making your return leg. So that's that one. I'm going to turn that off. We're going to whiz back down the field. I'm not going to show you all three of these, but what I will do is show you how that tool attacher works, and we'll attach onto a different pump as well, I think. So what we'll do is detach umbilical hose, detach that. So for each one of these, you need to use the tool attacher. If you're going to run the umbilical hose, that is. So we attach the attacher, unfold it, and then lower tool for application. Sorry. So that's down in place. Then what I've got to do, you have to be quite careful that you don't knock the cultivator behind. You sort of get through the gap there. You see there, through the gap. Bring it right the way through. Hook it up. Hang on. Now I can either bring the hose to it using the wrench, or I can take the vehicle to the hose. It's in touch, it doesn't matter. So we're now attached. Detach umbilical hose first. There we go. So this one is the cultivator. I went for this. Did I go for this one first? Oh, I did the BS900, so I've got the cultivator first. So 9 metre. Oh, pump's not running. I was going to switch it over, wasn't I? Oh, I thought it was running. Oh, no. So what we'll do is detach umbilical. Stop the engine on that. I'm stuck. There's so much to this. Sorry, I know it seems like a bit... right. Grab that. Bring that over to this one. We'll try it with each of them. Put the hose on first. So you can put the hose on the hose reel, unattach it, unroll it, whatever you want to do. What I need to do though is... attach umbilical hose. So that's our umbilical hose attached. Turn on compressor. Change to unwinding. I need a tanker next to it. So that first one was slurry, this one's digestate. I've got the compressor to clean it out if I want to. Actually, that's something I was going to do. Is that clogged up at all? No, the pipe's taken off now, isn't it? So it's just a case of making sure you've got a source for your slurry or manure close at hand. The difference between these two and these two is that's got its own slurry in it and that's got its own slurry in it, so they should work no problem at all. So that should now say activate pump. It's not saying anything about clogging, is it? No, umbilical hose isn't clogged, so we're good. So activate pump. So that's now taken from there. So we've done slurry, we're now doing digestate. And what we should be able to do now is we should be able to cultivate and do our work using the umbilical. There we go. We can, I didn't say it on the first one, but we can, with these, we can activate double application. We'll do that. It slows it right down, but we are putting twice the amount down. Obviously, if you're running this on precision farming as well, that's all different because you don't have to do double applications. You just do kind of one pass once your seed's in the ground. So this kind of thing works brilliantly. Actually, let's deactivate that. I love this pack. I think it's absolutely brilliant. The level of detail on here, Creative Mesh has done such a good job on it. It is brilliant. So that's that one. What I am going to try though, I'm going to keep it on this. Oh, should I switch it on to one of the other ones? I might switch it to the other one of the other ones. You know what we'll do? Let's raise it. Let's detach that. Let's detach the umbilical, drive that forward out of the way. I'll take the umbilical back with me. Go with that one. Again, just be careful when you're backing through, because I think the first couple of times I did it, I caught the spreader and it went all over the place. It was not a pretty picture. Attach. Let's get that into position. Go there. Start with. So these are the 12 meters. God, they're big. And again, look at all the hose connections and stuff on it. It's amazing. Right, let's swap over now. So we shouldn't need those two required a slurry or digestate source. With this one, if we detach the umbilical, stop the engine. Let's grab that. Now bring it down. This one's a peculiar one. This has got a whole load of stuff on it. Now, this one's already got a compressor built in, so it shouldn't need the compressor for cleaning stuff out, in all honesty. Attach umbilical. Oh no, that's attached onto the hose reel. I don't want it on the hose reel. Let's put that on. Got to be careful here, make sure I attach it in the correct place. I think it goes to that side. Ah, there we go. Attach umbilical. There we go. So that attaches, oh, around that side. So that's that attached. Yeah, activate pump. What I'm going to do, just bear with me, because I did put a compressor on here, but I don't think I need it because we've got a compressor already. No, that's interesting. We've gone for a compressor on the back. So I went for the option with the compressor, that box on the back. Yet, I don't have an option to turn on the compressor for cleaning the hose out. What we do have with this, if you've gone for all these options, unfold the pump. Oh, we have to detach it first? Really? Open cover does that. You can put the little water pump in there. It's oh. That's odd. Let's just detach that, if that's what it's saying we need to do. Unfold pump does that, and that. Not quite sure why, but it does. And you can put the little water pump in there and store it away if you wanted to. Close cover, fold pump. Again, we can take that hose reel off. We can use the hose. You know, there's various different options for that. But we do need to attach back up, L1 and triangle. So what should happen now is, because we don't need a slurry source, because we've got slurry in here, and it's also got water in as well. So what it should do as it's running, it should keep it all clean, and we shouldn't have any issues, I think. Activate pump. See bottom right, it says it's coming out already, so that should be flowing. We should put the same on that one as well. So that should be going to the hose. I think I've got all this right. I don't think anything's gone wrong. Drop that all down. Yeah, and off we go. So we're now running off pump number 3. So yeah, those first two, I'm just thinking, yeah, stick one of those next to the big slurry silo. So in all honesty, if you've got a massive slurry silo, slurry tank, and you just fill it up, you can put one of those pumps next to it. You don't have to have all the biogas stuff. Right, there we go. So that's running with the umbilical. So now what I'm curious about is whether or not I can run without the umbilical and just run it with a tank behind it. Because I haven't tried that yet. So I'm just looking down my list then. Compressor, tool carrier, hose pallets and hoses, rolling and unrolling of hoses, connecting and disconnecting of hoses. We've looked at 3 of the 4 pump systems. I suppose the other thing to do now would be, let's raise that up, just swap over I suppose to the last pump, just to show that one working from the fill container. So we shall detach umbilical, grab out wrench, connect up. Now, I'm sure it's going to be around here or here. So I haven't hooked this one up yet. Now this one, once out of the field, can be filled up independently. You can bring it out, whatever you want to do, but we have to lift the container if we're going to drive it. Lower it when you get to the field. So I'm thinking, by the fact nothing's come up there as an option, that our attachment is going to be around the side there. There we go. L1 and... oh, push it around that side, okay. Fair enough. Well, that's where it attaches, so that's what you're looking for. And then activate pump. It's as straightforward as that. The water's running the whole time because that's constantly cleaning the pipe out. So if you've got the pumps with water, it stops the pipes clogging up. Which means we should just get this one running off the 4th one. So that's all 4 pumps. 3 of the 4 spreaders. The 4th one we will use in just a second. Drop that down. There we go. So there we go. We're now spreading, but from the 4th one. I love this. I love it. It's not going to be for everyone. I totally understand that. And it's not cheap. You know, 15 quid. 17.99 euros. It's, you know, it's not the cheapest pack, but I would say I personally feel the amount of stuff you get in this pack, it's worth it. You know, some DLCs in the past you get and you think, well, okay, there's not really much to that, but then everyone's different. You know, whether that's how you feel about it, everyone's entitled to feel however they want, you know. Of course they are. So pumps, hoses, hose reels. What I'm going to do now is lift that up. I'm going to detach the umbilical, move that forward. We're going to fold that up, fold that up. I'm going to attach all of that. I'm going to whiz off and try now, because like I say, I'm not sure how this is going to work. Because that's got a rear trailer hitch. I was thinking, as I haven't tried it, this is just a kind of, yeah, these. If I grab one of those, fill it with slurry, attach it on the back, I should be able to run without an umbilical if I want to. So if you don't want to use the hoses, although to be fair, if you're buying the pumps and hoses pack, you'd think that's kind of one of the reasons you want to. Bear with me, I'll be with you in a second. I'm going to go and grab that tanker, we'll fill it up and we'll give it a go. Okay, let's fill it up from here. Fair, it doesn't need to be full. I'm assuming this will work. I don't see any, although there's not actually a pipe hasn't attached between them, but really? So does that still have to be attached to a tool carrier? Is that too close to the tractor? But with the tool carrier attached, that renders that... So I have to unfold it first, maybe? Oh, then attach it. Okay. It is working. There we go. So if you don't want to have it attached with an umbilical, use the trailer hitch on the back. But you have to unfold it first, then reattach it. And there we go. We are slurry or digestate spreading without an umbilical hose attached. That's cool. The only thing I'm thinking, you know, that first, if you look at all the others, they all worked absolutely fine. That first row I did was very spluttery. I'm pretty certain that the pump I was using only goes out to, what did I say, 300 metres, 400 metres. I think the hose was too long, so it didn't have enough pressure built up. That's really cool. So folding is not allowed unless I detach that. Then I can fold it, then reattach it. I think that's it. The only thing I haven't covered is the water pump. That has defied my logic. You can enter that, and it did give me the option to activate pump. Yeah, activate and deactivate pump. I don't know if that goes into a water source, maybe? If you've got a pond or something? Maybe. You can attach an umbilical to it? Actually, you know what? Let's try that while we're here, you know. Hey, we've tried everything else. We might as well. I'm just looking across thinking we've covered everything. So the ability to run the pumps, run your slurry, run your digestate. If you need to clean out your pipes, you can do it using the compressor and blow the pipes out, but the compressor's got to build up pressure first. If you've got the pumps that have got water already, water tanks, they will constantly run water through, which helps the longevity of those. Where's the umbilical? I don't think this attaches to an umbilical. Yeah, this is the one that's got me a little bit baffled. But then, to be fair, out of a pack, 2 parts. Part 1 infrastructure, part 2 pumps and hoses. Over 31 bits of equipment. The fact I'm baffled by 1 bit, I'm happy with that. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.